We begin the episode with a coffee machine pouring black coffee into a cup as Hector passes it to Blackbird, who blows and sips on it, revealing that they're back in Hector's and Ava's apartment. The coffee machine revealed that the time is 12:37 at night, as we see Ava still healing her blood spots with the amulet, turning them into either cuts or little holes, while having an ice pack on a very bad bruise. So, Blackbird, how did you find us? And how long have you been tracking the Black Hand? As Blackbird finishes his coffee, he tells them,
Well, Mr. Ayala, as you know, when you first became White Tiger, a 14-year-old kid known as Alexander Bird was killed by a cop. That kid happened to be my older brother. I was 10 at the time, and it was heartbreaking for my entire family. And me especially.
I truly am sorry. I didn't...
Like I said before, Captain D'Angelo is my godfather and told me much about the case, especially about what happened with my brother and the infamous White Tiger. He inspired me to become a detective. I got my alias Blackbird from my enjoyment of black coffee after his death. He left in his will much information about the Black Hand and gave me many tips and leads to use. And so I did, tracking them down to a bunch of places, especially in Chicago. But now I'm back and have been looking for you, Hector.
Why me?
Well, I got a call in the middle of the night when one of my investigations went dry. And I was informed by an old friend of mine. They mentioned something of a white streak stopping Black Hand members. It didn't take long to suspect you had a return, and our interests aligned with one another. Having heard of the White Tiger returning, I was at the crime scene to where mentions of that white streak were. However, it seems as though you've passed the title. As he looks at Ava, who's putting the ice pack on another bruise and still healing herself.
More so, she acted even with my warnings. I personally don't like it.
Yet you are helping her still.
Well, the Black Hand's boss did kill my family. I want to put an end to this game once and for all.
And so I'm correct. We have the same aim, finishing off the Black Hand. I will return in the morning around 8.
You're more than welcome to stay overnight, Blackbird.
I still have to look into the basement White Tiger infiltrated a while ago. Plus, we're going to visit someone who will provide us some knowledge about where the rest of the Black Hand may be located.
Well, there's 2 places they can be at, actually, Ava says as both of them look at her. I overheard Mr. Fish's scolding from their boss. They mentioned something about a warehouse they own. But I also know about a place where the boss could be at. And that he's also called the General. That place is apparently a ship they've labeled El Tigre.
El Tigre is one of their many suspected ships. It's also likely to be their main base to avoid any government interference. It'll be wise for us to aim at that first, and our visitation to that someone can actually be incredibly helpful for this now.
And that is?
Well, luckily I managed to get us to speak with him before his court case.
We cut to the next day to see a man in orange clothing and handcuffs as he is brought to an interrogation room to where he meets Blackbird and Hector Ayala, with him showing a noticeable confusion and making eye contact with Hector.
Mr. Reynolds, if you please, take a seat. We wish to conclude this quickly.
As we cut to the other side of the wall to see Ava there alongside Officer Rojat. Hopefully this will help your brother and detective with whatever they're tracking down. Been a while since you've been here. Good to see you, kiddo. Thanks. And it's good to see you too. Look, I don't know what y'all want from me. I ain't doing or saying jack.
All right, Arthur. I'd encourage you to reconsider, though, as not only did your lawyer advise you to take this offer, but we also have information about your crimes even before you were a part of the Black Hand.
As he shows papers and files he's collected about Copperhead and his past partners, killings he's done, as well as the murder of the previous Copperhead and co-workers at his old museum. What the hell?
All of this is before you worked with the Black Hand. As he throws 3 folders as some of the paper spills out. So, we can go through all of these and give these to... Alright. Okay. I get it. But this conversation cannot be shared outside of this room at all. Nor be shared. Nor be given to any cops there. As he points to the wall where Ava and Officer Rojat are at. They're a gang that's simply been active for far too long. You shouldn't be that concerned besides your sentence. Look, I don't need you to try and tell me to basically calm down. I'm not dealing with getting killed by them if this gets out by anyone. It's just Officer Rojat watching. And the girl... Let's get back to topic before we take our leave, shall we? She's important, huh? Well, fine then. As long as she doesn't spill, I'll tell. I know that cop ain't dirty as well, unfortunately. So what do you need to know? We need to know the whereabouts of the Black Hand's warehouse and El Tigre. Now I'll be straight with you. I have no clue where the warehouse is. I've only been on El Tigre. You were not close with the boss? The general and I rarely speak. He mostly stays in his room unless it is to oversee training and trades. But I've been on El Tigre long enough to know its course and stops. Blackbird would hand him a map of NY's rivers as he marks them down, and labeling certain days it'd be at. What do you mean by general? From what I've heard, it's got something to do with his past. It's why he likes being called that over the boss, or anything else. What else do you know about the other members and the general? Like I said, I don't know much about the general. I know Chemistro is close to him, and Mr. Fish is the closest stereotype to a group's muscle that we got. Anything about their names? Interests of theirs? Or helpful tips? Boy, you guys are really desperate. Makes sense for Hector here, but how the hell do you know my name? In El Tigre, there's something we call the Wall, as it has a list of targets to deal with. And he's been having that thing on there longer than I've been around. Constantly adding more pictures. You were one of the longest running ones. The white mutt got away. That's what he called you. Any particular reason? Before Hector could answer, Blackbird stops him. Thank you for the information. Now I will say this. If you bring any more people to help you, they'll simply be pork for days. Alright? Pork for days. You cops. They'll kill so many of you, you won't even know what to do. Ugh, cannibal's favorite wet dream. There's a reason all of us call him General. Blood will be on all your hands if you fail. Especially for you. As he looks right at Hector. As we see Blackbird and Hector take their leave. By the way, irons. Let's just say they helped with my armor. And the last copperhead was insane. With them leaving, we see Officer Rojat take Mr. Reynolds away as Ava catches up with the others and chats with him. Meanwhile, we see Mr. Fish walking past many members who are training diligently as he enters Gideon Mesa's quarters and knocks on the door. I look forward to the meeting. We will discuss later. You are allowed to enter and are able to speak. Mr. Fish does so and stands upright. Sir, Chemistro is safe at the warehouse with an eighth of the army there. He will recover and the data will be able to be used eventually, sir. Finally, good news. I thought you muties only brought bad luck. Now, while this is good, I have to meet with that gang from yesterday again tonight. You will be in charge of the ship until I return. Sir, I take this with honor. I have practically no honorable memories of you, so don't believe this is going to put you on a fairy tale's nice list. You will always need to deal with the things I find less of my time. Understood? Yes, sir. Good. I will see you later. I have to take care of these imbeciles.
As he leaves and closes the door, we see Mr. Fish's fists clenching badly. As he looks to the wall, seeing an image of his brother with a giant red X over it. As he takes a breath and exits to look over Mace, leaving with some armed forces, and looks to see the training of the rest of the Black Hand. We cut to see Hector on the phone, get into his car as Blackbird also hops in. Nothing to see or hear from this dock. How about you, Hermana? Found a homeless guy there was all. Gave him food and on my way to get more. Hermana, I'm just getting on the way. I see it from where I'm standing. Es bien. Just be safe and be careful. We got a lot of places to visit. Yo sabes. Call you later. Adios. We see Ava transform out of the white tiger as she enters and greets the cashier, as she looks for some snacks. When looking, though, she hears the door open again to see two guys having the Black Hand's glove on them, as she tries to change into the suit, but it doesn't work at all when putting the amulet on.
You wish to continue being the white tiger. Prove it to me and survive.
As we cut to Blackbird and Hector driving.
You're worried for her, aren't you?
Of course I am. The white tiger has brought nothing but pain to me and my family.
That's not what I'm referring to. It's about what Mr. Reynolds said, isn't it?
It's just that I don't want her to get killed. Seeing her last night in that state, I nearly ripped off the amulet and just threw it away. And apparently there's some sort of hit list. It's just...
You know, that girl managed to stand toe-to-toe with Mr. Fish, a person with great strength. Copperhead, a notorious killer. Chemistro, a man with many tricks, and many Black Hand members. She's beaten them all, and survived them. I'm sure she'll be alright.
As he says that, we see Ava fighting the two guys as they try shooting her, but her reflex helps her dodge as she uppercuts his wrist and manages to break it, as the other guy tries to find her with a knife. And even though she gets cut up a bit, she beats him and neck chops him, with him unable to move as the other guy runs away. The cashier thanks her as she smiles while running towards the guy.
Sloppy, yet successful, for now.
As she hides in the shadows, she tracks the guy from above and sends a shared location to her brother, as he and Blackbird change direction and go towards her. When they arrive, they're at a small port with some civilians around. As they continue walking, White Tiger finds them and leads them to a closed-off area. They went this way and tried getting people to help them over, as the camera pans to see the broken wrist guy and two others knocked out and tied up with some rope, as Hector gets handcuffs and locks it to a nearby pole. So that's where their general is, huh? Pretty far out. They must be planning something if they didn't stay the course Copperhead provided us.
Or he lied to us. Perhaps he knows something we don't.
I'm guessing it's a mixture of both. We should hurry before they get suspicious. As they nod to one another and drive, reaching to a dimly lit El Tigre. They near the boat and sneak onto it, but their own boat sadly makes some noises. After a moment of suspension, nothing. But as they arrive on top of it, we hear the cocks of many guns, as we end the episode with many Black Hand members armed with various weapons and Mr. Fish at a balcony.
You won't be winning today.